Hey guys, welcome to the latest battle report for Geeks 40k channel. Today I have the pleasure of welcoming the legend that is Mr. Edward Barfield from Portal Wargaming Club to mine for a battle. He's brought his Death Guard. We are doing something slightly different today. We are doing a Planet Strike mission. So, haven't done Planet Strike in a little while. Games Workshop released it, had a couple of games, really enjoyed it, and then it kind of went off the boil. So we thought we'd bring it back for a battle report today. So, part of Planet Strike is, one is the defender and one is the attacker. So Ed and the Death Guard are the defenders today. So they have the Aquila stronghold in the middle there, which you'll see when you have a look at his army. Ed has the pleasure of setting up the battle board today because of Planet Strike. The defender gets to set up the terrain however he wants it. So we have got Promethean pipelines down there. The rules for them are in play, so if you are using them as cover you get to re-roll ones on flamer templates. The rest of it, we have a ruined city that the Death Guard are camped out in, and the Space Wolves are coming to kick them off this planet. HQ for today's battle, we have Typhon. He is the Warlord for today. He comes with his own Warlord trait. We also have a Primian Medicum, close enough, and also the Navigator. So the Navigator was the limited edition Forge War miniature from the events last year. Moving on to troop choices, we have a 5-man Death Shroud Terminator squad. We also have a normal 5-man Marine squad and a transport of a Rhino. Elites, we have 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts. They're going to be nasty to face. Heavy support, we have a Spartan tank, so I'm sure the Death Shroud Terminators will be travelling that one today. We've also got a Vindicator, and we've also got a Whirlwind. Part of the fortification, well, part of the detachment today, Ed has taken a fortification, so we have the Aquila Stronghold. And that is 2,100 points of Death Guard that I'm going to be facing. Space Wolves for today's battle, we have Herald Deathwolf. He is my Warlord. He comes with his own Warlord trait of Saga of the Wolfkin, so any beasts or cavalry on the turn they assault get Furious Charge. Next to him in the HQ choices are Rune Priest. I've upgraded this guy to Psychic Mastery level 2. He comes with Fury of the Wolf, Spirit, Living Lightning and Thunderclap. Next to him we have Crom Dragon Gaze, so exactly as he comes out of the Stormclaw box set. Troop choices, we have one 10-man Grey Hunter squad. In here there is a Power Fist and a Plasma Gun. Next we have another 10-man Grey Hunter squad, again Plasma Gun and a Power Fist. There is a Rhino there, but they're not going to be in that because of Planet Strike. They will be deep striking in. Elites, we have 3 Thunderwolf cavalry guys, one with a Thunderhammer and all equipped with Storm Shields. We have a 5-man Terminator squad. There's 2 Thunderhammers in there and 3 sets of Lightning Claws. We have 2 Dreadnoughts, one Venerable Dreadnought which has the Plasma Gun at the back, one standard Dreadnought that has a las cannon. We also have, for the first time coming out to play, a Lone Wolf, so we can see what this guy gets up to in the battle today. Heavy support, we have a Vindicator, and finally we have a Longfang squad. So in here there are 2 las cannons, a missile launcher, a heavy bolter, and then an ancient with a plasma gun. So that is my 2,100 points of Space Wolves that's going to be taking on the Death Guard today. So let's see how we get on. Slight tiny oversight is when I was actually doing my army, I forgot to say that I had a flyer of a Stormwolf that one of the squads of Grey Hunters would be travelling in. Deployment for today's battle. The only thing on the board at the moment are the Death Guard. So in the Aquila Stronghold we have Typhon and we have the Death Shroud Terminators, and in the Rhino we have the Veterans and the Navigator. All my Space Wolves come on from reserve or deep striking on turn 1. If they have the Deep Strike special rule, they can assault on the turn that they arrive, so that's always pretty nice. So Ed has deployed everything in the stronghold in the middle of the city, and I need to shift them off. So my objectives are to either hold the gun at the end of the game or destroy it, which is easier said than done when it is a massive building. First part of Planet Strike is the attacker, which is the Space Wolves launch their Firestorm. So this is an orbital bombardment from the cruisers in low orbit. You roll a d6 and you add the amount of objectives. So I rolled a 4 and we have 1 objective. So I had 5 of these shots. First one landed on the Aquila Stronghold, taking off the Void Shield, so that has no longer got that one. I've taken a hull point on that guy, hull point on that guy, and Ed has also now taken 2 hull points on the Vindicator. So the 5 of them did do quite a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I didn't do anything to the building, which is armor 15, so it's going to have to be done in close combat. So deep striking in on turn 1, we had my Lone Wolf. Unfortunately, he actually scattered back 10 inches, so it kind of puts him right in the line of that Vindicator. That's a little bit of a worry, but he's on his own, so hopefully Ed might actually ignore him, because he's not the biggest threat. The Long Fangs have deep striked in, because they can, and they hit, so they are now nicely in line of a couple of targets there, as in the Vindicator or that Rhino. And luckily for me, the Terminators deep striked in and got a hit result, really nice and close onto the Rhino there. They do have the deep strike special rule, so they can assault the turn they turn up. So let's start shooting. So the only thing that could shoot was the Long Fangs. The last cannons opened up at the Vindicator and have managed to wreck it, so that now takes away that threat. On a little note, as part of Planet Strike, a lot of the Space Wolf stuff is starting in reserve, and they get to come on from a drop zone. So these are being dropped in by heavy loaders and stuff from the ships in orbit. So this table edge here is my drop zone. So my stuff will be coming on from here. Reserve roll on turn 2 is a 3 up, 2 up, and then automatically on turn 3. So it's easy to get your stuff on in Planet Strike. So over to assault, because it's time to take the Terminators into the Rhino. Assault down here for the Space Wolves. So the Space Wolves managed to get into combat with the Rhino and pop it open. The resulting blast killed one of the veterans in there. The Navigator is still alive. Typically though, Ed managed to win one of my guys with his dice rolling on the explosion, and I rolled a 1, so we have 1 Terminator down. It's always the way. So it's over to Death Guard's turn 1. The guys that were in the Rhino, so the Navigator and the Veteran Squad, have moved up towards the Long Fangs. The Death Shroud Terminators and the Medic have jumped out of the building and are heading towards the Terminators. Typhon has decided to stay in there so he can fire the cannon. See how good a shot he is. The Contemptors have moved round slightly. They're probably going to be popping shots on my poor lonely little Lone Wolf down there, but let's see what they do in shooting. The Spartan tank opened fire with its las cannon, killing the Lone Wolf. A little bit of overkill and a little bit harsh. Over here, the Navigator opened up with his Flamer of Doom thing, which is an initiative test, and I failed 2, so 2 with instant death, no saves at all. He is quite nasty for a little human. Over here, they've opened up with their hand flamers, killing another one of my Terminators, so I'm down to 3 Terminators on this side of the board. Death Guard assault over here. The veterans failed to get into combat with the Long Fangs. They actually rolled a 3. But to Overwatch, they lost the Navigator, which took them out of charge range. So the Navigator is out of the game. So that's good, because that flame template thing that he has is horrible. Over here, the Terminators versus the Terminators. I lost 2 Terminators in the combat, and Ed lost 3. And 3 and 1 wound there. So we are drawn combat over here. So that goes on for another turn. So, from the drop zone, we have had the Vindicator, which I've brought on this side of the board down here. So he has got line of fire all around here. My flyer has come on, and so is my Dreadnought. Plan for my flyer is drop the tactical squad and Crom Dragon Gaze out the front, get into the veterans that are there. However, Ed obviously has his Contemptor with Skyfire and Intercept, so we'll have to see if he survives. The other thing that came on for me this turn was my Rhino, so I have hidden him around this end of the board here, so that Ed has no line of sight on it whatsoever. And in there is a squad of Grey Hunters and a Rune Priest. So they're going to sit there for a little bit and see how this side of the board goes, and hopefully they'll be able to go and take the objective. The Longfangs opened up onto the veteran squad, killing off 3 of the remaining guys, which left 1. The Grey Hunters that had popped out of the flyer shot the other one and killed him. Ed did manage to get 2 hits with his Skyfire Intercept, but I managed to jink them both. The Las Cannon and the Hellfrost Cannon on focus mode, so it's not a template, shot at the Contemptor that was there. Reduce it down to 1 hull point left. The Vindicator opened up with his shell, hitting the Contemptor Dreadnought and wiping it off the board. It also took off the Void Shield off the building that had popped back up this turn. So we have no Void Shields on there, and we have no veteran squad left. Assault down here. The Medicare hit first and did nothing. Some terrible dice rolling from Ed. The Terminators hit all at the same time. I managed to hit once and do 1 wound, but that was enough to kill off the one guy with the 1 wound. Ed, with his dice rolls back, pretty much did nothing, so we are still drawn combat. Ed has decided to hold position really over here, so Typhon is still sitting inside the building. The cannon has turned around and is staring down at my Grey Hunters, so they are going to get a shell and they're going to have to really duck for cover in a moment. The Spartan has moved up a tiny little bit to try and get a shot at the Space Wolf Dreadnought hiding behind that building. Nothing else has moved, so the Whirlwind is still stationary. He might try and get a shot off at either the Grey Hunters there or the Rhino that's hiding out up in the top corner. So let's see what he does. The Whirlwind opened fire on the Rhino and hit it and wrecked it, so the guys have bailed out, so they're now on this side of the board. He managed to leave them unscathed though, so that's always a bit of a bonus for me. Over here, shooting, the Spartan opened up onto the Dreadnought, however I managed to save him with hull down. Over here you might notice a big hole. The D-weapon focus blast from the turret opened fire on the squad. They hit twice, and basically Crom Dragon Greys on his own took like 16 wounds, and the squad were just wiped out instantly. So there's going to be no assault on the building from that squad, unfortunately. The medic down here went first, managed to, well, pretty much do nothing. My guys hit back, split their attack, so the one Thunderhammer guy hit the Terminator and the one hit the medic. As you can see, the medic died quite painfully when he took a Thunderhammer to the face. The other guy managed to survive and managed to pass his morale check, so once again we're still locked in combat. The Vindicator has moved up 6 inches, as has the remaining Longfangs. They're now going to try and at least knock that Void Shield back off that building, if not do some damage to that building. The Flyer has moved up, hopefully going to be popping the Whirlwind. Down here, the Dreadnought has moved up and round, hopefully going into the Spartan. My reserve rolls, my Venerable Dreadnought is on again, staring down at the Spartan, as are my Thunderwolf Cavalry, again aiming at the Spartan. Really could do with popping that out of the way so that I'm free for the building, and hopefully popping that Contemptor off it as well. Down here, these guys have moved forward 6, ready to follow up the Thunderwolves into the open and into the fray. I'm trying to get into this building. That building is their objective, either hold it or destroy it. Now Typhon is in there, who has basically objectives secured, so I really need to destroy that building and pop Typhon out if possible, because if I'm holding it and he is still in there, Death Guard win. The Stormwolf Flyer has opened fire on to the Whirlwind, which is now immobilised and down 2 hull points. Some really low rolls on that one. My turn of shooting this turn has been quite poor. As a really good example, the las cannon guy, which is standing right by the building there, opened fire and managed to miss. I'm not quite sure how he missed from such close range. Obviously just having a very bad day, but not as much as a bad day as the guy firing the shell from the Vindicator, which opened up onto the Contemptor Dreadnought, scattered over on top of my Dreadnought, taking off a hull point, which this guy needs to go back to shooting school. He's terrible. Over here, these guys opened fire at the Spartan and did nothing, so it's going to be down to close combat to try and wreck that Spartan. Finally, the Terminators have fallen to the Space Wolf Terminators, and they're now free to go into assault with the building. Finally trying to get Typhon out, maybe get him out so we can pop him out as well, and then take control of that building. Over here, the Spartan tank fell to the combined attacks of 2 Dreadnoughts and the Thunderwolf Cavalry. Blew up, so we are now free for attacking the Contemptor Dreadnought, the Whirlwind and the building. And obviously got these guys here ready to run across as well. So at the moment, the Death Guard are on the back foot, but we still got Typhon in there. We still have a D weapon that can fire, and we still have a Contemptor Dreadnought and a Whirlwind. So there's still a lot of firepower here for the Death Guard. The Whirlwind opened fire at the Thunderwolf guys. They took 1 wound. The Contemptor Dreadnought opened fire at the side of this Dreadnought and managed to wreck it. The D cannon with Typhon sitting at the controls opened fire at the Thunderwolf guys. Basically wrecked the Dreadnought, the Venerable Dreadnought there. It was D6 plus 6 hull points, so there's no way he was going to survive that. The D cannon also hit the Thunderwolf guys, killing 1 and taking 1 down to 1 wound. So they were quite heroic riding through the explosion. 1 fell, but the other 2 and Herald Deathwolf are there. The flyer has moved round over here. The Stormwolf guy has. Pilot has moved it round. Hopefully going to be turning round the Hellfrost cannon and popping that Whirlwind, because it's starting to annoy me now. The Thunderwolf guys and Herald Deathwolf have moved round the back of the wrecked Dreadnought, trying to get into combat with the building or with the Whirlwind if needed. Over here, the Longfangs have stayed still, trying to get ready to pop this building. The Terminators are ready to go into close combat. The Vindicator has come up a bit, maybe trying to shoot the Contemptor in the back that is sitting on top of the building over there. Over here, the remaining Grey Hunters have started to filter their way through the building. Hopefully the Rune Priest is going to be in range of some of his psychic powers. Longfangs opened up on the building trying to remove the Void Shield, which they did successfully, which would have helped the Vindicator. He opened fire on the Contemptor Dreadnought and did nothing, and also did nothing on the building, so the shell just kind of ricocheted off. However, the Rune Priest down here opened up with Living Lightning on the Contemptor Dreadnought, taking off a hull point. The Hellfrost Cannon, I rolled 2, well, I rolled a 1 and it's twin links, I rolled another 1, so that did nothing on the Whirlwind, so I think it's down to the Thunderwolf guys to try and get in there. That's a tough one to call now. Do they go into the Whirlwind taking that out, or go into assault with the building and try and take off some of the hull damage there? But then again, we do have the two Thunderwolf Terminators with their two Thunderhammers on the other side. That's a tough call. Terminators managed to get in with the building. There was only about an inch out. Over here, the Thunderwolf Terminators, Herald Deathwolf, I decided to take into the building because I really do need to pop this now. I managed to cause a tremor because I need to get 6s to get a penetrating hit, and then rolled a 1, so I managed to cause a tremor. So snapshots only from inside the building, so he can't fire the D weapon now, so that's a bit of a bonus. So the Death Guard have stayed still and have opened fire. The Contemptor Dreadnought has opened fire down here, killing the front two guys plus the Rune Priest. The Whirlwind actually opened fire onto the Vindicator, taking off a hull point and doing a weapon destroyed. So that'll be the battle cannon gone then. Okay, so over this side of the board, everything has stayed still. The Long Fangs are there. I'm going to try and pop a couple of things off that building because it has got its Void Shield back. The two remaining Terminators are ready to go back into combat. Same over here with the Thunderwolves. Over here, the squad has moved forward. The Plasma Gun is going to try and pop at the Contemptor, as is the Hellfrost Cannon from the Flyer as it goes off the board. This building is a tough nut to crack. Its main cannon has been disabled this turn, but basically there's been no damage. This thing doesn't have any structure points. It's literally, I need a 6 and then roll on a damage table. So the combined hits of the two Thunderhammers and the Thunderwolves down there have not been able to crack it open this turn. Typhus did take some wounds, but Ed managed to save them all. The Contemptor Dreadnought on top of the building opened fire at the Grey Hunter squad that was down here, wiping them all out. Combination of his guns and his rockets just nuked them. This Whirlwind opened fire indirectly on the Long Fangs and hit, killing all 3 of them. So that's my Long Fangs gone as well. It's do or die time for the Space Wolves. Can they crack this building or not? So the Thunderwolf and Thunderwolf Cavalry and the Terminators have gone in again, trying to hit this building. You need 6s. I didn't get any with a combination of about 12 dice. This thing for 560 points is awesome. It is so difficult to destroy and get in. Typhon's sitting in there, looking out the window, just laughing to himself as he just watches these Space Wolves pointlessly hammering away at the armour on it. So that's it, end of battle. Ed had his turn. He managed to kill off 2 of my Thunderwolf Cavalry guys and put a wound on to Herald Deathwolf there from the Contemptor Dreadnought. As I was saying, just this building is unbelievable. It's 560 points for probably one of the toughest things that you can take in a 40k game. Really enjoyed a game of Planet Strike. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like if you like, put a comment in, it'd be nice to hear your feedback, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. So see you guys soon.